Hello, it's early July 2019. It's actually July 4th. Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy birthday, America.
America.
We are out here to do the Standing Indian Loop, mostly along the Appalachian Trail and the Nantahala National Forest of North Carolina. Devin and I are out for 4 days. Joey, Cate, and Michael are tackling it in 5. And we've been sitting in the car all day, so we're excited to hit the trail. Let's do it to it.
Amen to that.
Where you guys are? Home sweet home. We've made it to camp for the night. And we aren't going to set up in the shelter. We're going to find a camping area out beside it. But this is Long Branch Shelter. Newly built and very nice. For this trip, we're using Joey's map. The Southern Nantahala Wilderness and Standing Indian Basin. Let's take a look at the map for day 1. We started at the Rock Gap Trailhead. We came down past Rock Gap Shelter along the Appalachian Trail. We continued through Glass Mine Gap. And we are set up for the night around the Long Branch Shelter on the Appalachian Trail. And day 1 was about 3.5 miles. Alright, we've got camp set up here at the end of day 1. Devin and I have our hammock set up in this little area. Joey and Cate are just a little bit up the hill. And Michael is going to spend the night in the Long Branch Shelter. We had a good, pretty easy day today. A couple miles to get up from the Rock Gap Trailhead.
Today was super hard, bro.
And Joey says it was a super hard day. I know he's lying after we did a little bit heavier days about a month ago. And we are going to go ahead and wrap things up for the evening here and have a nice, chill, relaxing evening up at the shelter by the fire. So we're going to call this the end of day 1. Good night. Well, good morning. We made it to day 2 of our trip here in the Standing Indian Loop in the Nantahala National Forest, North Carolina. We had a relaxing night last night. The temperature stayed pretty warm. I didn't hardly pull my quilt on until like the middle of the night, so it was a pretty comfortable temperature. Today our plan is to go to Carver's Gap and pass the Albert Mountain Fire Tower on the way. This would be the longest day of our trip, with probably about 9.5 miles or so to get to the gap if that's where we end up going. But we are just going to take it as we go, and our plans may change. So we're looking forward to going up to the fire tower and hopefully experiencing some good views up there. Alright, we're all packed up on the morning of day 2. We are looking forward to heading up to the Albert Mountain Fire Tower. Looks like a beautiful day, so we are expecting some awesome views.
And I'm Joey.
I'm Michael, aka Tenacious G.
And I'm Cate, aka Brown Bear.
I'm Devin.
I'm Layne. We're ready to hit the trail.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We've got a bit of elevation gain here heading up to Albert Mountain this morning. Alright, we made it to the top of Albert Mountain, up to the fire tower, and it's a nice cloudy day today. So here's our view from the base of the Albert Mountain Fire Tower. It's fairly cloudy out today, but we can still see a lot of mountains down there. We're near the top of the fire tower. The very top's closed off. We've got an awesome view of the valley below us.
She was terrible at first. She's gotten really good.
Lots of clouds out here. Looks like we may be hitting some rain at some point. And as we move around the fire tower, we got views in all directions. Our view from the base of Albert Mountain Fire Tower has gotten quite cloudy, and this stuff is blowing right towards us.
Y'all enjoy today. Yeah, y'all take care.
Much for a
Rudy root.
We've got a pretty view here along the Appalachian Trail, heading down from Albert Mountain, and the clouds are starting to clear out, give us a little more of a view. We found a nice lunch spot here at Betty Creek Gap. We're gonna fill up on water and eat some food. Home sweet home. We've made it to camp for the night. This is Carter's Gap Shelter, and we're probably gonna set up in one of the campsites that are around it as long as the rain stops. It's been raining for the past couple hours here, but we're hoping that's gonna let up for us. Let's take a look at the map for day 2 of our trip on the Standing Indian Loop in the Nantahala National Forest, North Carolina. We started the day at the Long Branch Shelter, and we followed the Appalachian Trail down until we hit Albert Mountain. We enjoyed the fire tower for a little bit, although a lot of the views were obscured by clouds. We continued to follow the Appalachian Trail down. We came past Mooney Gap, Betty Creek Gap, and we followed it all the way to Carter Gap. And that's where we're set up for the night. That was around 9 miles for our day 2. Alright, here we are at the end of day 2. Today was a pretty interesting day. The morning started off nice. We got up to the top of the fire tower, and then we started to hear a little rumbling. We were hoping that was gonna hold off, so we kept trucking along. And a couple miles down the trail, the skies opened up on us for the next 3 or 4 hours. So we got to the camping area quite wet, but
A little bit damp.
you know, we still had a good time, and
Still slightly damp.
we are all still a little damp. We'll probably stay that way for quite some time. But the sky is clearing up a little bit. The sun is poking out, and we are enjoying the rest of our evening here. About to cook up some dinner and have a relaxing time. So that's the end of day 2. Good night. An estimated 2 to 3 million people per year hike a portion of the Appalachian Trail. These visitation numbers would put it around the 10th most popular national park in the country. Good morning. We made it to day 3. It was a pretty peaceful night last night. There was a big storm brewing right when we were going to sleep. Lots of thunder and lightning and some light rain, but it blew away pretty quickly. I fell asleep while it was storming and woke up and it was perfectly calm. It was a little chillier last night than the night before, but not too cold in general and quite comfortable overall. So today our plan is to go to about Standing Indian and go check out the view on the top of Standing Indian, and we're hopeful that the clouds will clear out so we can get a nice view from the top. And we're looking forward to the third day of our trip here on the Standing Indian Loop in the Nantahala National Forest, North Carolina. We saw more than 60 of these snails during our 4-day trip. Snails, which are more closely related to octopi than insects, are born with their shells and grow them as the snail increases in size. Alright, we packed up camp on day 3 at Carter Gap. It's a pretty late, relaxing morning for us, but we're just enjoying our time out in the woods. We're about to hit back on the Appalachian Trail, heading up to Standing Indian, and we're hoping that these clouds clear out a little bit so we can get some sweet views up there.
As everybody does the look.
We're ready to hit the
If you
trail.
didn't notice, there are clouds. Let's do it.
Starting our morning off along the Appalachian Trail, and we've got a little sneak peek of some views. Hopefully more waiting for us on Standing Indian. A lot of the rhododendrons are blooming here along the Appalachian Trail, and we've got miles and miles of flowers. It's a beautiful hike. We've made it up to Standing Indian Mountain. The skies have cleared up and we've got a sweet view. Here's our view from Standing Indian Mountain, just a little bit off the Appalachian Trail. And it is a beautiful view out here. The Cherokee gave this area the name Nantahala, meaning land of the noonday sun, due to the steep gorges and dense forests that make up this section of the Appalachian Mountains. Home sweet home. We've got camp set up for the night. There I am, there Devin is, and Cate, Joey, and Michael are back behind us. Let's take a look at the map for day 3. We started today at Carter Gap, and we had just camped a little ways down from the shelter. So we worked our way up Appalachian Trail, we came through Beach Gap, and we continued on our way up the Appalachian Trail until we reached Standing Indian Mountain. And we camped a little ways down from the summit and enjoying the beautiful view from the top of the mountain. Today was probably about 6 to 7 miles. We've reached the end of day 3 on our trip on the Standing Indian Loop in the Nantahala National Forest, North Carolina. We had a good day today, and we're enjoying a great view from the top of Standing Indian Mountain. We're going to go ahead and call this the end of day 3, our last night. Good night.
The legend of Standing Indian Mountain. According to an ancient Greek legend, a long time ago a great winged monster swooped down and carried off an Indian child playing near the village. The huge creature took the child to a cave high up in the cliffs of a nearby mountain. Frightened Cherokees from across their nation gathered to ask the Great Spirit for help in getting rid of the monster. After days and nights of prayer, An awesome, blinding bolt of lightning and a tremendous thunderclap occurred, shattering much of the mountain, killing the beast and its offspring. The lightning was so powerful that it destroyed the trees, producing the bald mountaintop that remains treeless to this day. A Cherokee warrior, posted as a lookout near the cliffs, not only was killed by the lightning, but was turned to stone. Some said it was a punishment for being a poor sentry. Most of his figure has been worn away by the passing centuries, but a pillar of stone with an ill-defined head at the top still remains. Visitors may not be able to pick out this stone effigy from among the jumble of rocks, but they can easily see the cliffs that were torn asunder by the Great Spirit's benevolent bolt of lightning.
Well, good morning. We made it to day 4, our last day of the trip here on the Standing Indian Loop in the Nantahala National Forest, North Carolina. Devin and I have had a great time out here with Joey and Cate and Michael. It's been a very enjoyable and fun trip. So we're going to enjoy the view from Standing Indian this morning and then get packed up and head back home. The sun has risen up over Standing Indian Mountain, illuminating the valley below us and exposing miles and miles of mountain ridges. It's a beautiful day today. We had a rain shower come through last night, but the skies are very clear now. Joey has a butterfly on him. Let's take a look at the map for the final day of our journey. We're going to go from our current spot on the top of Standing Indian Mountain. We are going to follow the Lower Trail Ridge Trail all the way down to the Standing Indian Campground area. And our plan is probably to walk to the campground and then do a short road walk on 67 to get back to the trailhead. Our other option would be to take Long Branch back up to the AT and then follow that to Rock Gap, but the 67 option is a couple miles shorter, so we'll probably do that to get back to Rock Gap trailhead and end our trip. We've packed up camp on day 4, the last day of our trip on the Standing Indian Loop in the Nantahala National Forest, North Carolina. It's always bittersweet to end a trip, but I know we are happy to hike the 4 miles out and get some food and get a shower. It's been a great time, great people, really awesome trip, and we're ready to hit the trail.
Alrighty, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Woo!
Woo! Heading down Lower Trail, Ridge Trail, cutting through the forest. The southern Nantahala Wilderness was designated in 1984 and currently consists of close to 24,000 acres, almost evenly split between North Carolina and Georgia. We've made it to the end of our journey. 4 days around the Standing Indian Loop and the Nantahala National Forest, North Carolina. We probably did about 25, 26 miles in total. We had a great trip, a very fun time. Weather was good for us except for one little rainstorm that we hiked through. And we had an especially awesome experience at the top of Standing Indian Mountain. But we are finished up and we are ready to go get some hamburgers. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.
So long.